In Dead or Alive 6, I want you to get acquainted with this. This is your P. This is your jab. This will serve as the foundation of getting your offense started. Or more specifically, your PP, your jab. The main reason why I like this move is because there isn't really necessarily a bad time to use this move compared to other flashier moves. The main reason why is because this move comes out fast and it recovers quickly. You can use it in close. You can use it in mid-range. You can use it in long range, no problem. I mean, if you use this at long range, this is hard to whiff punish, and you use this in close, you'll beat out most stuff. And even then, if you end up doing a move that's faster than your opponent, then you can even score this. This is this counter hit. So with PP, you could lead into other stuff. So like PP forward punch, PP forward kick, and if your character is a low, PP down kick. And of course, a personal favorite of mine, punch grab. Use your PP to feel out your opponent. So essentially, for a nice safe kind of jab move you can use your PP. Once you're good with that, in close, this is your go-to. So you're going to be using either your jab or your down jab. If you have like a really fast elbow, and I'll go over be able to like check that stuff out with like frame data and stuff like that, but just right now, your elbow is your go-to strong close range move. So jabs are fast, down jabs are fast and also go under stuff, but elbows are really dangerous, and this is your foundation of getting your offense started on counter hit. Once you block something by your opponent, they'll be negative. So I want you to test them with this now. This is your forward punch. This is your elbow. If the opponent does something afterward when they're negative, such as mashing from disadvantage, they will get counter hit like that. I might have alluded to earlier that getting counter hit in Dead or Alive is very dangerous. This is why. You scored a counter hit stun, follow up with either jab or down forward punch. Down forward punch gives you a lift stun. That's a lot of frame advantage. Jab also gives you a lot of frame advantage when you follow up with it. You can use this as a sample. Forward punch, punch, down forward punch. After this is going to be hitting the stun threshold. You can actually check it looking at the top right where you see the bar kind of flashes. The little white part shows you how much stun you can do before the opponent just kind of like falls over. After the stun mix-up, launch the opponent. Launchers vary from character to character. For instance, Kasumi has down forward punch, or down forward kick. That's her mid punch and her mid kick launcher, and a high launcher, for instance, would be like up kick. Once you're ready to launch your opponent, choose a combo in the combo challenge. Your flow can look like this. Welcome, I'm Force Nature, and this is Top Tier Tips.
Sorry.
As always, if you like this video, smash that like button. If you didn't like this video, just hit the like button anyway, and don't forget to subscribe for more juicy fighting game content. Take note that a lot of information in this guide will have a lot of crossover with Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. So basically, if you played Dead or Alive 5 Last Round, then the information in this guide is still going to be at least somewhat applicable. Well, probably most of it will be applicable anyway. Well, continuing on with Dead or Alive 6, remember how I said that counter hits are basically very important in this game? Well, be careful about this. See this? This is a critical hold. If the opponent does that, then this will happen to you. So, if you perform the same flowchart every time, the opponent will eventually perform a critical hold on you. Enter mind game number 1. Do nothing and wait. Then throw. This is a high counter throw. It deals a lot of damage on the opponent's counter hold. So, for mind game number 1, you can keep the stun going and then launch the opponent for a juggle. Or, you can stop the stun short and get a high counter throw if the opponent performs a critical counter hold. When you have your opponent stunned, if you're continuing to stun, what you do is press your move like a single strike, then press the guard button. What this does is stop unwanted moves. So it's just simply single strike, single strike, single strike. But don't hit them too much though, or they may fall over prematurely in what's called a critical finish. Unless of course your objective was to basically go for the knockdown and go for Okizeme, and basically which is a mind game and tactic in itself. After you stun the opponent, mix up highs, mid punches, mid kicks, and lows are okay too with a down kick. After you stun your opponent, there are 3 potential routes you can go to keep your offense going. The first one is simply just to like continue the stun, and then you launch the opponent and you get like a small juggle or something like that. The second route is to simply just stun the opponent and then maybe just wait. Just see if they like perform like a critical hold or anything. You can even dash in them, try and bait a reaction or anything like that. So the point is this is just you keep on the defensive, then you keep your offense going. Alright, the third route that you can take right now is simply going for a knockdown. And then you can end up hit the opponent twice on the ground and like go for Oki or anything like that. The main point of this though is that you're keeping the opponent close, and like Route 2, Route 3 is also based around what's called reset pressure. Actually, there's one more route you can take, which basically just forgoes the stun game altogether. You just stun the opponent, then just launch him right away, and you don't have to worry about a critical hold or anything. If you're worried about critical holds, use Route 2. Or Route 4. If an opponent's afraid to hold because of this, then basically just use Route 1, just style on them. Take note that the most common hold that an opponent will perform when stunned is called a break hold, which takes up 50% of your total meter, also called the break gauge. This ends up beating all high, mid punch, mid kick, or low attack. So basically it can beat out any sort of strike, except of course it can't beat out throws. So essentially if you can end up baiting these out and then like punishing with the throw, these can be really devastating for the opponent. As for the break holds, they are the only way to get out of the incredibly dangerous fatal stuns. Try to look for yours with your character. As you can guess, fatal stuns are incredibly dangerous, because the only way to get out of them is with a break hold. That basically means that if the opponent essentially doesn't have any meter, then any follow-ups after a fatal stun will be completely guaranteed. The break blow, your character's super move performed with forward plus S. This move of course costs all your meter and does a lot of damage to the opponent, and it can cause environmental damage and all that, but if you end up pressing the guard button during it, then you end up getting the same fatal stun as your powerful, unique strikes. The opponent can still perform a break hold during your break blow cancel. Throw them if they do that. And the last meter-based attack is the sidestep attack. Right here. It takes up a quarter of your meter and it avoids, well, linear attacks, no problem. But of course, loses the throws. Sidestep attacks are also throw punishable. So please punish them every time if the opponent likes to abuse these, because these moves are honestly quite abusable otherwise. When fighting at mid-range during a neutral game when neither character has an advantage over the other, you need to make a bit of a decision based around your playstyle focus. Do you want to get in your opponent and rush them down and like push buttons, or are you trying to get away and stay away and perform keep out on them? If your opponent's defense sucks, or if they have any sort of life lead over you, then it is recommended to try and get in and rush them down. In this case, during a neutral game, you're going to be basing your gameplay around a strong get-in move. And likewise, if your opponent's defense doesn't suck and is instead actually really strong, then in that case, you're going to have a bit of trouble rushing them down. So in that case, you're going to have to play a bit of a footsie-based poking game from around mid-range. And just in this case, what you can do is maybe encourage them to try and rush down you. And then what you're going to be doing is trying to stuff their approaches with a good, relatively safe poke. However, matches in Dead or Alive 6 are very dynamic, so you're going to have to alternate between occasionally rushing down your opponent and sometimes just hanging back and having them try and come to you. Because if the opponent has to come to you, then you're likely going to be the one at advantage. If you're applying keep out poking style, then you're also going to be applying whiff punishment. Whiff punishment simply means hitting the opponent after they've like missed an attack. So whiff punishers you can use is generally moves that can either stun, fatal stun, although I'll give you a bit of a heads up that fatal stun moves tend to be a little bit on the slower side. So these are for if the opponents tend to whiff something pretty big, or if you completely anticipate they're going to whiff right in front of you, smack them for a fatal stun where you can only get out of it with a break hold, for instance. Alright, so good whiff punishers is stuff that, again, is relatively safe to throw out, has decent speed, but generally you want something that stuns. Doesn't matter if it's like normal hit, counter hit. I mean, well, normal hit would be better. Now we're going to take a look at how throws operate in Dead or Alive 6. Alright, but before we do that, yes, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to slap on the frame data, also known as the skill info move details box. The reason why I'm putting them on the frame data box, which is my favorite box in the whole wide world and a new player's worst nightmare, is because throws come in different sizes and speeds. Well, mostly just speeds. For instance, your neutral throw, your 5-frame throw. This is your standard kind of like tick throw. For grappler characters, it will be 4 frames. These throws are broken by just, well, pressing the throw button. Don't worry about timing, worry about anticipation. Because this is like really hard to react to if you don't know when they're going to do it. Your forward throw, this is your 7-frame throw. This is also known as your punishment throw, because if your opponent does something that's -8 or worse, so a big enough negative on block, you can get a guaranteed throw punish on them. These throws come out in 6 frames for grapplers, and 7 frames for anyone else. So basically, if you block something, -8, you can throw for free, as long as you can reach. 10-frame throws serve the same purpose as 7-frame throws. However, these moves are designed to punish moves that are around -11 or worse on block. These secondary punish throws are commonly 8 frames for grapplers. And now, your new favorite throws, the 12-frame hold punish throws. These big throws are used to punish opponents that hold too much during stun, or just hold too much in general. 12-frame throws are also really good for opening up a really defensive opponent and getting your offense started for a lot of damage. Take note, however, that you can high counter strike a throw attempt for a lot of damage back at them, so don't throw too willy-nilly. Oh, that Izuna drop hurts so much. There are crouch throws also, performed by usually down back throw or down throw. These low throws are to stop opponents from doing this. Beware of specialty throws referred to as offensive holds, that look like so. These are special throws that beat someone blocking, doing a hold, and can also beat out strikes. So how do you beat an offensive hold? With any stand-in throw. Unless the opponent's in the air. In that case, you gotta crouch, then low throw. And now we're gonna take a look at the dreaded wake-up kicks, also referred to as comeback kicks. After you knock the opponent down, these moves will seem like the bane of your existence. Alright, with the wake-up kicks, there's both mid wake-up kicks and low wake-up kicks. For low wake-up kicks, you beat him simply by using a jump-in move. You can also low hold them too. For mid wake-up kicks, you don't really have much choice but to perform a hold to beat them. For both wake-up kicks, you can also beat them by just simply backing off and trying to whiff punish them, but as you can see, the timing can be a little tight. You can also beat out wake-up kicks by performing a strike that deals at least 21 damage or more, and you have to connect it on the same frame as a wake-up kick just like that. However, the timing to do so is incredibly tight and can feel a little inconsistent, so what I would recommend is simply just backing off, especially if you don't know what wake-up kick will be coming out. However, a good strategy is just to simply forego wake-up kicks altogether. This is going to require a hard knockdown. Something like Kasumi's up forward and kick. This is a hard knockdown. The opponent's only able to do a wake-up kick if I basically don't do anything. However, if I attack them quickly twice on the ground, this gives me a forced tech. So this forces the opponent up, and I can pressure for free. Another good strategy is to knock the opponent into a corner, apply a small juggle, and then keep them there. And rinse and repeat. If you get something blocked and you're not sure what the opponent's response is going to be, your default response is going to be to perform what's called a fuzzy guard. It's inputted with down forward block or down forward back. Kasumi has a parry, so when I do it, I get the parry. So to avoid that, I have to do the down forward back version. It should look like this. So what this does is it blocks against mids and it can go under tick throw attempts. Alright guys, that's it for now. If you'd like to dig a little deeper to any of the concepts that have been introduced in this video, then be sure to check out both my beginner and advanced guides for Dead or Alive 6. But before you do that, be sure to check out this video here that will explain fighting game notation, because in my other DOA guides, I do use proper DOA fighting game notation. And once you've found your favorite waifu and husband, your favorite character, then be sure to check out these guides here to give you an idea on how to approach learning these characters. Once again, if you like this video, smash that like button. If you didn't like this video, just hit the like button anyway, and don't forget to subscribe for more juicy fighting game content. Alright, this video is endorsed by Smart Esports and Trollcoin, and I would also like to take this moment to thank my premium top tier fighters for their continued support, which I always do appreciate. If you'd like to become a premium top tier fighter yourself, click on the Patreon link down below. This is Force Nature signing off, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time on Top Tier Tips.